ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरम् व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्। अपरोक्षानुभूतिर्वै प्रोच्यते मोक्षसिद्धये सद्भिरेव प्रयत्नेन वीक्षणीया मुहुर्मुहुः स्ववर्णाश्रमधर्मेण तपसा हरितोषणात् साधनं प्रभवेत् पुंसां वैराग्यादिचतुष्टयम् ब्रह्मादिस्थावरान्तेषु वैराग्यं विषयेष्वनु यथैव काकविष्टायां वैराग्यं तद्धि निर्मलम्। स्ववर्णाश्रमधर्मेण तपसा हरितोषणात् साधनं प्रभवेत् पुंसां वैराग्यादि चतुष्टयम्. We have seen most of this verse. Swavarnashrama dharmena. It's all in the third case because these are all means of gaining the qualifications in order to have aparokshasya anubhuti. Anubhuti here is the knowing, the knowledge of oneself as aparoksha atma. Aparoksha atmanaha jnanam. So this knowledge itself is the anubhuti. And so in order to have that, there are certain things that need to be in place. Just like if you want to do a PhD, you have to have some degree before that. And it's not enough without any qualifications to apply. And then, when you apply something, what happens is that you can't just you have to you build on the knowledge from the previous whatever one has studied, and so therefore even here it's the same exact thing, same exact. So one builds on these qualifications. And so we saw Varnashrama Dharma not always trying to be, what should I say, some kind of questioner all the time. It's good to question, it's good to inquire. But we have seen in detail last time, Swavarnashrama Dharma means whatever one has got to do in this life is done, and is done cheerfully as a way of gaining a certain kind of a patience, a certain kind of a staying power for this knowledge, samadhanam, etc. This is what is accomplished. This we saw. Then tapasa. Tapasa means any kind of mental disciplines, etc. Religious discipline, spiritual discipline, where one has a say over one's addictions, over one's way of the mind, over one's relative insecurities. And haritoshanam. Haritoshanam, even though toshanam means to please, here it's not pleasing the Lord, it's not pleasing Ishvara. That's not what this is about. One is not embarking on some kind of a propitiation of Bhagavan. Because the definition of Bhagavan is the one who does not need propitiation. That is Bhagavan. And that is you, the one who does not complain and the one who does not therefore need to be propitiated. That is Bhagavan. So, what is this Haritoshanam? Haritoshanam is, I explained last time, living in the awareness of Bhagavan. And this, of course, people in all religious traditions try to do. In fact, there is an injunction. Think of God all the time, even in the Hindu tradition. Bhajare mana. There is so many songs start with that refrain. You keep worshipping Bhagavan. You keep thinking of Bhagavan. You can't think of Bhagavan in the same way that you think of your cell phone. there's a big difference. First of all, you are addicted to your cell phone, but you're not addicted to Bhagavan in the same way. Okay, that's the main difference. But then the cell phone is an object. In fact, it should be renamed hell phone because that's where that's where one feels like one is because of this addiction. So the cell phone is an object. You can objectify it. You can fight for it. You can go and buy something. You can keep it. You can use it. You can think of it. Similarly, you can think of your spouse. You can think of your child. You can think of your neighbor, your friend, your dog, your cat. You can think of all of them because they are all objects. Here, Bhagavan is not an object. Bhagavan is not something that can be enclosed by a thought. Then what is this Bhagavan? Bhagavan is that Satchidananda Atma, endowed with the ability endowed with the status, the causal status, the ability to create, the ability to take back, the ability to sustain, endowed with the so called status of being the cause of the universe. Same consciousness. What is this consciousness? The one that says yes to the question, are you here? That consciousness. If I ask the question, are you here? What will you say? Now the answer should come quickly because I've already given the answer. And so you have to say yes. Even if you say no, that means you're already here. You're advertising your existence. An existence that can never come to an end, an existence that is never insentient, an existence that is always nitya, the same, unchanging, fearless, sorrowless. That is the existence that one wants. That is what one wants to be. That is what one is, and that is where that is where one is going. And so, this existence alone is equipped or endowed, as it were, and this endowment is also as though equipped, as it were, with what? With the ability to be called the cause of the universe. Because it is in charge, this existence alone, called Sat, is in charge of all the laws of the universe. And it is not Jada. It is not Jada means it is not inert. How do you know? Pinch yourself. If you say ow, then you have just met Chit. Okay? Yeah, that's what it is. You are sentient and you are conscious. And so this sentient consciousness is what we are talking about. Sat Chit. Sat is Chit, Chit is Sat. The two cannot be, the two can never be divorced from one another, inextricably linked. In fact, the two are one. Then why do we talk about two? Just so that one can see it from various standpoints. From the standpoint of a conscious entity, we say Chit. From the standpoint of entity, we say Sat, existence of that entity, we say Sat. And how long does this continue? Forever. It's the same forever that one is looking for in all the objects, starting with the self. Forever. One doesn't mind going to the shop and getting an update, upgrade, whatever they call it. So then one says, oh, a better version, bigger, better version is available. That they don't mind. They're exchanging it. But to ask somebody to give it up altogether, oh, no, no, can't do this. So, like this, this is inextricably linked, the Sat and the Chit, and that which continues forever is called Anand. So, that is one's nature, as the Aparokshanubhuti itself will tell. And that nature is being unfolded as, it's not enough to say, I am Satchidanand, because the human pursuit is not happy. It does not gain the end. Knowing that one is Satchidananda, it doesn't do anything. So, therefore, what do I need? I need to know I am no longer small. I'm riddled by a smallness that I want to get rid of. And that smallness doesn't go. I am Satchidananda, big deal. I'm still small. I'm a small Satchidananda. And then it doesn't help. All these paperback Vedanta texts, they say, they spell the self with a small s. And then when they want to talk about Bhagavan or something like that, they spell the self with a big S. That's just compound. That's just like rubbing salt into the wound of the heart, the wound of self ignorance. Especially, we can have a lot of fun, especially with verses in the 6th chapter. Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva hi atmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanah. The word atma comes in every every second word is atma there. And so, if you look at the various translations, then you don't need cable TV at all, because the translations themselves are hilarious. Never ending entertainment. Pick up the self, and it will be small s. By the self, big S, capital S. Pick up the self by the self. And do not put down the self, small s. Again. And big S, the self is the self's, small s's, biggest friend, and the self is the self's biggest enemy. What did you understand? Really? And so, therefore, it's just, it's just making it worse. I was better off not knowing the meaning of it. I was better off chanting without knowing the meaning. At least chanting the Bhagavad Gita gives some punya. So I can just be happy gaining punya and just chanting it whenever I feel like. This kind of a translation is not going to do anything at all. So therefore, the smallness is what brings one to Vedanta. I am tired of being insignificant. I am tired of being small. I am tired of being put down by this, that, and the other. I'm tired of feeling upset, incomplete, insecure. Everything, behind everything is this smallness alone, of which I am totally tired. So what do you want to be? What do you want to be? Big. Everybody wants to be big. In fact, all of the human pursuits are because one feels small. All of the human pursuits are designed to become bigger, become better, become more accomplished. All that means becoming bigger. And it's like, it's just like doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Why? Because, because you are already big. The already big person wants to become big. The already secure person wants to become secure. The already happy person wants to become happy. The already Purna, complete person wants to become complete. This is madness. So, what is this hurry? And Hari means the one who takes away what? The smallness. That's all. What else is there to take away? The one who takes away the smallness is Hari, whose grace brings to one the Guru, whose grace brings to one the qualifications, whose compassion brings one to this knowledge and helps one to assimilate this knowledge. That is the Hari, the cause of the universe, from which everything comes, including Guru, including Shastra, including my desire to study, including my forbearance and the ability, the samadhanam, the ability to sit with the knowledge until it blossoms in the heart. All this comes from that from which everything comes from. And so there is a relationship of the struggling jiva is to this Bhagavan. The struggling jiva is already born related. The struggling jiva who is struggling for what? Who is struggling for completeness? Who is struggling to become big? Who is struggling to lose the smallness? Is already born into this world related. Related to what? The cause from which everything has come. So how am I related to Ishvara? Is Ishvara my brother-in-law? Not really. Ishvara is that which is the cause of this body-mind sense complex. Oh, I thought karma is the cause. You can take karma as the cause. Except we add that karma is a manifestation of Ishvara. In fact, in certain parts of Eastern India, they have a deity. They have the manifestation of Bhagavan as Chitragupta. Chitragupta is the colorful one. Chitra, pretty as a picture or pretty as one's own karma. And so what does this Chitragupta do? This Chitragupta is the Adhishthatru, the one who abides as karma, and the one who dispenses karma. Whose karma? Your own karma. Because we want somebody to keep track of the karma, and it is Bhagavan in the form of this Chitragupta keeps track of the karma and makes sure that your punya doesn't go to the neighbor. And in fact, even when with regard to the spouses, the punya is not very happily shared, it is jealously guarded, because we have a very lopsided distribution of punya where spouses are concerned. In a couple, if she does something and something good, then what happens? 100% of the punya she gets to keep. If he does something, half of it goes to her. Okay. And then what? And then what about the papa? If she does any papa, if he does any papa, he gets to keep it all. No, papa is not shared. Except if she does any papa, most of it goes to him. Not fair. Somebody, I was talking, I think in one satsang in Arsha Vidya Gurukula, and in some satsang. So one man said, "This is not fair." After I had explained this, and people were enjoying this, the women, of course, were enjoying this, very happy. And then they said, "Not fair. This shouldn't be like this. What can I do to change this?" I said, "You can pray to become a woman in the next life. That's all you can do. What else to do? This life, this is how it is." And so all this, the papa, punya, everything manifest as the giver of the laws of karma. Your own karma is Bhagavan. And so you're already born related. Because this is a karmic body, it's a karma body. And if it is a good body means it can digest a stone and it can eat anything, it can sleep anywhere. It can have a rock as a pillow and then sleep like a rock. Then that means some good punya is manifesting. So if you have that kind of a body, take to sannyasa immediately, because that means even when the situations are adverse, you can manage. Wonderful. So this is a body not fit to do what is that called, not fit to go to the gym and then have all these Popeye character kind of muscles. No, this is the body. If you have that kind of a body, take to a life of sannyasa, become a parimvrajaka. You can sit anywhere. You can sit under a tree. You can sleep next to the mountain, and then you can eat at the temple free. No problem. Don't have to worry about anything. Take to a life of a wandering mendicant. All right. This is a punya body. बहुत अच्छा है. Very nice. But then everybody doesn't have this body. Why? There is some papa. Mishrita. It is papa punya mixed up to be born in Bhuloka. There is a little bit of papa, little bit of punya all mixed up. That's why in North India we have the last name Mishra. Everybody's last name should be Mishra if you're a human being. Mishra means little bit of papa, little bit of punya. That's what it is. That's what qualifies for a human birth. And even the strong person with ready to take sannyasa physically is not prepared mentally. That's why he goes to the gym instead and does other things. And or wastes away the body. So some people are like that. They say, "Oh, nothing will happen to me," so they develop, unfortunately, some kind of addiction and waste away the body, fry the liver, and etc. etc. They do all kinds of things, unfortunately. So therefore, this is a product of karma. And who is indwelling this body is separate from this body. This is the first premise of Vedanta. The indweller is not part of the body mind sense complex. The indweller is Sakshi. The body is Sakshya. Sakshi, witness, observer. Body is an object of my observation. But how can I observe the indweller? You cannot, because the observer is the indweller. The one who wants to know is the one who is to be understood, but not as an object. So this Satchidananda, as though trapped, not really trapped, as though confined, but not really confined, within a particular iteration called Upadhi, a body mind sense complex, is born related to that Satchidananda who seems to have no limits, limitless body. Ishvara's body is not the body of photographs of Vishnu, Lakshmi, etc. that we see. No, Ishvara's body is limitless. It is the truth of all bodies. Ishvara is in all bodies. All bodies are therefore Ishvara. Ishvara is not any particular body. This is what has to be understood. So one is already born related. And born related means there is the only relationship between myself and this Hari being talked about in this verse is that of a devotee and the subject matter of devotion. No, but you just said that Hari is not an object. No, but the person doesn't know that. As a child growing up in the tradition, the child doesn't know that. Even adults don't know that. And so we focus on this relationship. And in this relationship, yes, there is a certain kind of an objectification, there is a certain kind of a duality, but that is just a temporary duality. It is a provisional duality. Because even as I worship, I take the flower to my heart and then give it to Bhagavan. That oneness is there. In the mantras, there is this oneness. In the folk songs, there is the oneness. Vedanta is not just located between the pages, the dusty pages of an Upanishad. No. Dusty means not well read, not well understood, sitting somewhere in some library. Vedanta is not to be found within the pages of the Upanishad. Vedanta is everywhere. In fact, that we call Vedanta, which is in any culture, in any tradition, which talks of this oneness between the Jiva and Ishvara, because that is the only way to get rid of the smallness. The struggle is to become Ishvara. For whom? The one who is already Ishvara. The one who is already Ishvara struggles to become Ishvara, and the only antidote for that is to understand I am already that which I seek. This is the only thing. So Haritoshanam has to be understood in two ways. The first way is to explore this relationship, is to build up this relationship. What is this relationship based on? The giver of the law of karma and the one who is manifest as the law of karma, and then who is this one, who is this Ishvara endowed with a body, mind, sense complex, as it were, the one who is the recipient of the law of karma. So that is the relationship between the giver and the receiver. This is the relationship. And the receiver is what kind of a receiver? A very cantankerous receiver. Oh, something has come. Why did you give me this? The receiver forgets what all the person did in the in the last life. All the corners that were cut, all the people that were abused, all the people that were hurt, any dogs and cats that were kicked out of the way, all these, and not to mention all the things that went in, for himsa, all the things that were eaten, all the things that were harmed. One forgets all that. And then what? And then instead, one complains, how could you give me this? Where else will you direct the complaint? You have to direct the complaint to the establishment, to the one who is running the establishment. If you go to a restaurant and the food is not good, you order something and something else comes and it is terrible, then what? You can't complain to the other customers seated there. They cannot resolve that complaint. You have to call the manager, you have to call your waiter, and then you have to call the manager and say, okay, it has all these things which I cannot eat. And I did not order this, something else has come. You have to do that. And here also you have to relate to the one that you have to complain to the one that runs the establishment. And that is what is Ishvara. This is from the standpoint of the manifest Jagat. So what will happen? What will happen if I complain? Perhaps you'll get a new dish in the restaurant free. Okay, we'll not only give you the dish free, but we want you to come back. The dessert is also free. Dessert means some more punya that is there, that was kept in abeyance, has manifest in advance. It has been advanced, and it is manifest in advance. And so this way, that is one outcome that can happen. And so therefore the complaint here, the relationship between the one who is a supplicant, the one who wants only good karma, and the bad karma which has to be endured, especially a mature supplicant understands that sometimes bitter dishes have to be ingested. And then what do you pray? I mean, things that don't taste good have to be ingested. So what do? Perhaps you can pray for a clothespin to shut off the lawns and eat it quickly so that you don't have the complete experience of what has to be ingested. You pray for a reprieve. Where do you pray for the reprieve? You can't ask other people, please help me take this karma. Nobody can take your karma. And so therefore, the one who gives the karma can only mitigate this. How? By looking into your karmic bag of Sanchita and perhaps finding a sliver of karma that would have fructified later on, but then that is given right now. Amazing. This is amazing. This is the relationship between the recipient of difficult karma and the giver of difficult karma. And the only way to write this relationship is to recognize this first of all, to recognize this and to pray for mitigation. Every mumukshu must become a devotee first. If one is not a devotee, one should not lose any more time than to become a devotee. Why? Because there are so many obstacles. Many obstacles, they say, between the cup and the lip, but forget the cup, forget the lip. There is many obstacles between oneself and what one wants. So many times has this happens. People come with lot of enthusiasm, great enthusiasm. Yes, I want to study. Yes, I'm ready. Yes, I want this badly. And then what? Oh, class is meeting again next week. Why? Again next week? Why? I don't feel like it. Enough. I think I got the gist of Vedanta. Enough. I think I can manage on my own. And then 3 weeks later, one is again in the doldrums. Then again, a little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit of this. So this is called in Sanskritam, kadachit kaha. Kadachit kaha means kabhi kabhi wala. Sometimes one wants Vedanta. Vedanta is like a little, whatever, little outing. It helps to just sort of clear the things. You take a walk to clear the head, and then you do a little bit of Vedanta once in a while when the head is really cluttered, and you say, "Oh, nice, nice, nice," and then you check out who else is here. Oh, they are still coming. Oh, okay. That is what it is. So this is the first meaning of Haritoshana. Haritoshana means recognizing that I am as an embodied human being filled with all kinds of obstacles, and also having this urgent need to lose the smallness, yet surrounded by smallness. In fact, starting with my own body, everything is small. Small means not the size of the body, but limitations. Limitations wise. Body has limitations, mind has limitations, sense organs, of course, have limitations. Everything is finite, 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 finite. I'm sick of the finitude. I want to get rid of the finite. Getting rid of the finite means what? Recognizing oneself as infinite. There is no other way. Because how has collecting more and more finite, becoming a collector of the finite, does not rid the finitude? In fact, you have a lot more finitude around you. You are infinitely surrounded by the finite, but yet you want the infinite. What a travesty. So Haritoshanam means clearing the karma by prayer. Prayer clears the karma because it creates punya. Punya is called adrishta. Papa is also called adrishta. Adrishta means that punya is not visible. Like the modaks on a plate, like the laddus. Laddus means round balls of calories offered to Bhagavan. So you make 108, and Ganesha says, okay, you can have back all of them. I have just siphoned them off. I have enjoyed their smell. Devaha Aparokshapriyaha. There is an expression. Remotely they enjoy. They just siphon off all the things, nutrients and the taste, and leave everything to you intact. So that's why you can take a plate of laddus and go like this to Ganesha, and he says, "Oh, I'm very satisfied." You can't do that to the guest. Here, pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha. Thank you for coming for lunch. They will make you into lunch. They'll be so hungry. So this is the, Bhagavan is pleased. That's why when you go to heaven, etc., this is what the Veda says. When you go to heaven, then you don't have any stomach issues. Oh, why did I eat so much? No one says. And oh, I don't think I can have gluten. Nobody says. I need what is that now? No, keto diet. Keto diet, don't follow, okay? Recently they have debunked it. It leads to heart disease. How can it not? So much fat one is eating. And so I only can have keto diet. You cannot say that in heaven. Why? Because you don't have any stomach issues at all. Why? Because you don't really need to eat. You don't need to eat, so no stomach issues. Oh, but I love food. Yes, you can enjoy. You can enjoy everything just by going, wonderful. You can enjoy. And so the laddus offered to Bhagavan with Shraddha, with Bhakti, whatever you offer. It doesn't have to be laddus, Bhagavad Gita says. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. It can be water, it can be fruit, it can be leaf, anything. And it can be a flower. And so whatever is offered creates adrishta, an invisible good karma. Why? Because it is punya karma to pray and to be in this kind of relationship with Bhagavan. Why? Why is it good karma to pray and worship in this way? Because when you are praying, you're not robbing a bank. You see, so therefore it is good karma. You're not gossiping. You're not telling lies. You're not doing some useless thing which catches you and gets you into trouble. You're not cutting corners. You're not plotting some adharma or following adharma. Therefore, it is punya karma. So the adrishta, the invisible good karma created from the prayer, attacks the invisible bad karma that is there waiting to pounce. Waiting to pounce at the appointed time and the appointed date. Waiting to pounce. And so therefore what? So therefore this adrishta cuts that adrishta. Kind of like the coronavirus vaccine. You don't see the virus, but it is there around and you want to inoculate yourself. And it's not enough to do it once. Now they are saying every 6 months some booster is needed. Some booster is keeping on being needed. And so similarly, it's not enough to just pray once because one is the prey of so much difficult karma. It has to be done on a regular basis. So the first meaning is Haritoshanam, is this particular recognizing and honoring this relationship so that my plate is cleared in order to follow this knowledge. My plate is cleared so that nothing comes in the way. My mind is not distracted. My attention is not dissipated. So I am in prayer all the time. I recognize and adore this relationship because this is what I want to be. I want to know this Bhagavan. Then the prayer takes on the second meaning. I want to not just get goodies from Bhagavan, I want to know this Bhagavan. The 911 Bhakta who has Bhagavan on speed dial only in times of difficulty slowly graduates and matures to the one who says, who are you? How can you be the truth of me? When am I going to understand this? That is the second meaning of Haritoshanam. Haritoshanam means understanding Hari as the truth of oneself. Haritoshanam can only mean one thing. The second meaning is the pursuit of Aparokshanubhuti, the text. the pursuit of Vedanta Shastra, the pursuit of the Upanishad, finding a teacher, studying with a teacher, that is Haritoshan. So Bhagavan is very, very happy. In fact, the happiest is Lord Yama when you study Upanishad. Why? Because he's the teacher of the Kathopanishad? No, not particularly. That's not what I was thinking of. So then why is Lord Yama very happy when I study Upanishad? Because Lord Yama thinks to himself, one less jiva to take care of, one less jiva to wonder where to put after he or she delivers themselves to me, where should I put them on the assembly line? Rebirth, what kind of rebirth? All these are just, very difficult decisions. Rebirth in a human life, yes, but always acted like a dog, territorial, growling. So, what kind of a job will this person have? Security guard of a building. That's what, Perhaps that's what it is. Don't take it seriously. Okay, I'm just having fun. And so all this Yama has to make the decision. And Bhagavan as Yama has to make the decision. So Yama is the happiest. Okay, one less jiva to handle, one less jiva to take care of, one less jiva about whom to make decisions. So Haritoshanam, two meanings, both of them equally important. Sadhanam prabhavet pumsa. Prabhavet means they definitely become. These become the sadhana for moksha. Indirect sadhana, because the direct sadhana is the study of the Upanishad. All the other clearing and everything else, tapas and varnashrama dharma, all these following dharma appropriate to one's station in life, etc., become indirect sadhana to qualify for the pursuit of this knowledge. And that is what brings in the teacher, that is what brings in the guru, that is what brings in the shastra, and that is what brings in a very calm and a dedicated mind to study. That's what brings it. And so sadhanam, so all these become sadhana. For whom? It says pumsam. Pum means man. But here, because that's an ancient text, and in those days when it was written, the women were disbarred from even looking at the Veda, and let alone studying Vedanta. They were not allowed to do that. This was during a time when the tradition became much, much more patriarchal. Every religious tradition became very, very patriarchal. And so this way it was just, for men. But here we have to translate pum as person. So this becomes the sadhana. And then what are those sadhanas? Vairagyadi chatushtaya. Starting with vairagya, etc., the fourfold sadhana. And we don't have to talk about this right now, because we can go to the next verse, because it will explain all this, what is this fourfold sadhana. We saw one chatushtayam, anubandha chatushtayam in the beginning. Now this is another chatushtayam, another group of four. And what is this? Vairagyadi. He highlights vairagya. Usually we say vivekadi chatushtayam. He says vairagyadi chatushtayam. And what are those fourfold qualifications? Viveka, discrimination between nitya and anitya. What is permanent and what is temporary. That discrimination must be there, and then the desire to pursue the permanent must be there. That is called vairagya. The letting go of that which is temporary in every aspect of one's life. That is vairagya. So viveka, vairagya, and then what else? Mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam. What is mumukshutvam? Moksho me bhuyat iti ichha, tibra ichha. May there be moksha for me. Let me have moksha. When? Yesterday. I want moksha. I want it yesterday. That kind of a strong desire for moksha is called mumukshutvam. Oh, but that's only three. What is the fourth? The fourth actually is six. The fourth one is a group of six. Oh, you tricked me. Exactly. That's why, that's why it's in the beginning, it says only four qualifications. You can do this. And everybody says, yeah, yeah, four I can handle, no problem. Tell me what they are. Viveka, okay, okay, got it. Vairagya, yeah, check. All right. And then Mumukshutvam, yes, great. What's the fourth one? Shamadama, Uparati, Shraddha, Samadhanam, all these things. Titiksha. The fourth one is a group of six. That's why we save the best for the last. And so that people don't run away, all right? And this is for the same reason, same exact reason, that the qualifications for the student of Vedanta in the Bhagavad Gita are given in the 13th chapter, well beyond the halfway mark. And because Lord Krishna did not want Arjuna to run away from the battlefield and or run away from the teachings. Because had they been given in chapter 1 or even chapter 2, then one would have said, oh, there's no way I can have amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, arjavam, acharya, upasana, stairyam, atmavinigraha, indriyartheshu vairagyam, anahankaram evacha, janma mrityu jara vyadhi, dukkha doshanudarshanam, asaktihi, anabhishwangaha, putradaru grihadishu, nityam samachittatvam. And then Adhyatma Yoga Yuktam, Tattva Jnana, Lakshanam, all these things. 20 qualifications are mentioned. And then by that time one is exhausted because one is seeing big gaps in oneself, starting with Amanitvam. And so therefore, it is in chapter 13. By the time you're hooked, you want to know. You want to know the whole. There's no way of dropping out. And so here also Viveka, Vairagya, Mukshutvam and Shamadhi, Shatka, Sampattihi, group of six. Like I said, we don't have to dwell on these here because it's already going to be explained. So what should we do now? Let us go to the next verse, which is here. So the verse number 4 is going to talk about the Vairagya, definition of Vairagya, and a short explanation of Vairagya is given here. Brahmadi sthavaranteshu. This is a technical expression. Even Adi Shankara has it in some of his writings of the Bhashya. Brahma means Hiranyagarbha, Brahmaji, the creator. Or it could mean Brahmaloka. Both ways we can take. So beginning with Brahma, Brahma Adi. And then Brahma Adishu, beginning with Brahma, right up to Sthavaranteshu. Sthavara means mountain, tree, unmoving things. Sthavara also can mean a small worm. It's a little bit of a stretch of the meaning, but it's possible. And so Brahmadi Sthavaranteshu. Sometimes they say Brahmadi Kitanteshu. That is also there. Kita means worm. So something insignificant. I mean, you don't have to parse the words here. Does it really mean worm or not? Doesn't matter. Don't become a bookworm about that. All right. Yeah. So instead, just look and see what is it trying to say. It says from the biggest goal, meaning going to Brahmaloka, to the smallest little object there. Either becoming Brahmaji or going to Brahmaloka, whatever it is, from the biggest goal to the smallest little thing. What should one have? Vairagya. One should have Vairagya. Vairagyam means this does not really matter. This is not what I am after. Vishayeshu. Vishayeshu means with regard to objects. The Vishayeshu here, see the shu is not there because there is a sandhi here. So Vishayeshu plus anu it is. Okay. So Vishayeshu it qualifies Brahmadi Sthavaranteshu. They are in Samanadhikaranya in apposition. So with reference to, this is a Vishaya Saptami. So with reference to with reference to all ends in life, from the smallest to the biggest. And the ends in life or all objects, doesn't matter, with reference to all of them. Anu means in keeping with what the Shastra says and in keeping with what is going to be said in the second line. Vairagyam viragasya bhavaha. The non-attraction. The non-attraction to all possible ends in life, from the smallest to the biggest, has to be accomplished. And the anu is here hanging. The anu actually is another way of saying yatha, or in keeping with. But then it's hanging. In keeping with what? That's going to be explained here. Yatha iva. And this is not how I would explain things, okay? This is not how we would talk about it. But what is that? The author is insisting on using some kind of a revulsion therapy in order to produce vairagya right now. So, yatha iva, just as kakavisthayam. Kakavisthayam, this is kind of strange to talk about in a Vedanta class, the droppings of a crow. All right. So, Vairagyam tadhi nirmalam. Example is not nirmala, but Vairagya generated from the example is nirmala. That is what I suppose is being trying to convey. Nirmala means pure. All right. So, Kakavishta. So, the droppings of the crow. Nobody goes collecting the crow droppings. Who goes doing that? Nobody has a penchant or a desire. It's like something universally disgusting, mildly disgusting. So the crow dropping means you avoid it. Avoid it. And then Pujya Swamiji used to always joke. Somebody asked once in a satsang, Buddha sat under a tree and got enlightened. This was a satsang question. If I sit under a tree, will I also get enlightened? And Swamiji said, certainly you will get enlightened. And the enlightenment is, never again will I sit under a tree because of all the droppings above. That is the enlightenment you will get. And so this is the thing. So the crow droppings are avoided. You don't want that. And so just like one doesn't go after the crow dropping. One doesn't go after the crow dropping. What is there? Nothing. It doesn't have anything to recommend itself. And even suppose tomorrow or sometime in the future, they found out that, let's say, the crow droppings have some kind of a siddha medicine or some kind of a medicine there, and which cures asthma or something like that. Even the asthma sufferers will try everything else before they do this. Before they take to this medicine of crow dropping. So therefore, the crow dropping is not something that is desired. It's not desirable at all. And so the same attitude to the crow dropping that I have that exact same attitude to everything else in the universe. Starting with the biggest end that I know, which is going to Brahmaloka, or having the life of Brahmaji, or having the life of Indra. It is said, Indra means the king of the celestials, king of heaven. It is said that you have to do 100 yajnas from scratch. Make your own bricks, make your own ghee, make your, collect the sticks. And you do 100 yajnas without the mind going this way or that way. The mind is concentrated. The heart is in the right place. And all the dravyas you have, you don't keep putting akshata in the fire because you forgot to buy this or that. Everything you have, everything goes perfectly, then in the next life you become, not in the next life, in the next kalpa, you become the next Indra. Do you dislodge this Indra and become, or maybe you dislodge the Indra immediately and then you become the next Indra. I forget what the Puranas say about this. So, but that doesn't matter. That's the details don't matter. But the point is, if you do 100 yajnas, you can displace the current Indra, who is reigning over the heaven, etc. And Indra also, being in the position of Indra, if that Indra does not have the knowledge, Indra doesn't have the knowledge of the self, then what will happen? That Indra will not want you to complete the 100 yajnas. After 50, he starts sweating bullets. He starts getting nervous. No. This one has to be kept an eye on. And then we'll say, hey, crow, go and drop something in the yajna. Because then the yajna will not be nirmala, it will be defiled. You have to start from scratch. Oh, okay, I have marked the walls. This is the 52nd yajna. So I start from 53. No, you have to have 100 uninterrupted yajnas. And so you go back to square one. You go back to number one. And then you get tired of doing it, and then you get repetitive stress injury of keeping on pouring ghee like this all the time. Then you need a little massage of the shoulders and the arms, and still it doesn't go. All this, even in sleep and dream, you're going like this, and still that's not enough to get the coveted Indra's position, because Indra himself is nervous and Indra is very possessive about his position. There are many stories like this. He'll ask a crow to drop something, or some inauspicious things are dropped there, so that you don't complete the 100 yajnas. So that means what? Even after completing, let's say you complete 100 yajnas, go and have Aindra Pada. Aindra Pada means the Padavi, the status of Indra, called Aindra. Tadhita. And so you have Aindrapada, you become the next Indra. You look around, and then what is the use? Because that same insecurity you were there in Bhuloka, there also you carry the same insecurity. You jump when somebody comes from behind, and you're always afraid that they want something from you, that you yourself want, and it's a coveted situation and a possession. You're always afraid. You're always incomplete. You're always wanting. What is the use? It is perhaps for this reason Indra appears as a student in so many Upanishads. Indra appears as a student. In the Kena Upanishad, Indra is a student, and of Haimavati Uma, who is the teacher. First female teacher represented in the Upanishad. And then Indra is also a student in the Chandogya Upanishad, chapter 8, goes to Prajapati for knowledge. Then finally we see him as a teacher in the Kaushitaki Upanishad. He is the teacher. But otherwise, he's portrayed as a student. And in the Chandogya Upanishad, he stays with the teacher and he studies for 105 years. This is not mentioned to deter everybody from studying. It is to show that even if you're someone as exalted as Indra, you have to take this pursuit seriously. And you cannot not take this pursuit seriously. This is exactly the teaching. And so therefore, the Vairagya means the understanding that everything that I pursue is finite. And what I want is the infinite. In the Viveka Chudamani, Vairagya is defined as Iha Mutra Phalabo Bhoga Viragaha. Iha, here. Amutra, elsewhere. meaning in other lokas. Here and elsewhere. Iha cha amutrascha. Ihamutra. Ihamutra. Here and elsewhere. Phala bhoga. That I want to enjoy the fruits of my karma. That penchant to enjoy the fruits of the karma. The freedom from that penchant and that addiction to fruits of the karma is vairagya. Very sound definition. And more about this definition we'll see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. All the Saturday classes, I suppose, will meet on the this current time, and starting Sunday, everything will be 1 hour later because the time changing for you, not for me. And so go figure and make the adjustment. All right, yeah. Om Tat Sat.